All right, so Clark, I have pulled up our Facebook Live. Thank you all for joining us right now. We have nearly 30,000 views right here, and I'm looking at your question. So Justin Langford says, will freezing my credit negatively affect my score? Also, what form do we need to mail Equifax letting them know? I don't opt out of anything so I can join the class action lawsuit. And lastly, how do I go about joining that class action lawsuit? So,
okay, so first of all, you expect me to remember 4 questions.
Yeah, right.
So
no.
let me try. First things first.
Okay.
If you freeze your credit, it has no impact at all on your existing credit, has 0 impact on your credit score. Freezing your credit simply prevents a criminal from opening new accounts as if they're you. That's the whole purpose of it. It's different, like you think about monitoring. Monitoring's like a burglar alarm. Somebody comes through the door and an alarm goes off, and after somebody's already stealing, it tells you. What credit freeze does is they can't break in. So that's why I love credit freeze so much. Again, you're just tuning in at Clark.com. I've got step-by-step the buttons to do the credit freeze. Second question he asked was,
what form do we need to mail Equifax letting them know?
Okay, don't mail a form to Equifax. Do it online. And again, with Equifax, their system is so messed up right now. Put it on your calendar. If you use an electronic calendar on your smartphone, set it up for 2 weeks from now to try to put the credit freeze in with them. Go ahead and do it with Experian and TransUnion. They're not having the same server issues as Equifax. And a lot of people have done Equifax alone and don't realize that that's not going to protect you. You must do this with all 3 credit bureaus. So you have to pay the fee 3 times over. And with the class actions, there are dozens of class action lawsuits, and likely one of the effects of this is that Equifax will have to pay people, reimburse them for the fees that people have had to pay for freezing their credit with TransUnion and Experian. I think that will be in effect. Go ahead, just spend the money you have to. It's idiotic and mean-spirited that we have to pay a fee to lock down our own credit when we never gave these companies permission to build these dossiers on us.
Right.
We never gave them permission to sell off our information over and over again. They created the hazard for us, both economic and moral, and then we're left with the mess to clean up, and we have to pay to clean up their mess? I mean, how insane is it? And I'm sorry to go political on you for just a second. This is a clear issue where the 435 members of the U.S. House and the 100 members of the U.S. Senate, one by one, not the Congress, your individual congressman, your 2 senators, they're not listening to you. They're not watching out for you. What they're doing is they're protecting Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And if you're a congressman or senator, get off your rear end and serve the American people. That oath you took when you went into office, you need to be serving the American people, not the big corporate interests that gave you all your dirty money. Let me see. If I start handing out 20s, will you start listening to me and do what's best for the American people? Or is it only for the big political interests that put you on their private jets, take you to the big sports events, take you to the big fancy golf courses? What about the American people? When you fly over them in the corporate private jet, what about their interests? Why don't you put their interests first?